going on, guys? We're back with some more picks for WWE, this time for the show in Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Now, a lot of us really aren't huge fans of their shows in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of kind of controversy behind these shows. It's not really the best light to be shown on them, but, you know, they're a company that got to make money, and it's hard to turn down all that money from Saudi Arabia, as with a lot of other sports. But that's beside the point. The past couple shows over the years have been putting on some pretty good hits, as of contrary to their first couple shows, now that they've finally gotten their feet wet. So I like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that this time they're going to be able to put on some absolute bangers, especially with some of the talent that they got on the card. So let's start it off simple with the pre-show match, and that has Sami Zayn facing off against JD McDonough, the former Jordan Devlin. Let's put it that way. So I think this is a pretty safe and easy call. I think Sami Zayn got to get the win here. Not only get the crowd going, but just because he's kind of gotten a bit of a home field advantage here in Saudi Arabia. Not really, because there's a lot of controversy between, or not controversy, but there's a lot of tensions, let's say, between Sami Zayn, who is of Syrian descent, and the people of Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of tension in the past that I won't go into a whole lot of detail because I'm not a huge expert on that kind of stuff, but that's beside the point. The point is, when Sami Zayn showed up last year, the crowd went nuts for him. So what better way to get the show going than to have Sami Zayn, who's still over like Rover, show up on this card, beat a heel, get the crowd hyped up for the rest of the show. I give this one to Sami Zayn. Now, the next match that we have is the WWE Women's Championship match, which faces the returning Bianca Belair against Io Shirai. I'm going to call her Io Shirai. That's just what I'm used to calling her. Sue me. So this match is, I think, another very easy call, because while Bianca is returning, this is kind of her rematch clause match for the championship that she lost after she lost it to, I believe it was Asuka or Charlotte or one of them, and then Io Shirai cashed in and took the title from her. So the way I see it is, this is kind of the first run, the first title reign of the new WWE Women's Championship, and the best way for us to kind of make this title really mean something compared to the former Raw or SmackDown title that it used to be is that it needs to have a strong, healthy reign, especially with it being on the end of a women's Money in the Bank cash-in, because those cash-ins haven't really meant a whole lot in the past couple of years because they've been short, they haven't really led to anything, and with a talent like Io, you want her in the higher echelon of the talent for a long time to come. So I see this as Io Shirai retaining the title in a banger match, I'm sure, but it needs to be Io Shirai retaining so that the title can benefit and so that she can benefit, because Bianca is already an established talent. I give it to Io Shirai. Alright, next up is a singles match between John Cena and Solo Sikoa. Now, I don't want to say this is an easy match, because this could definitely go either way, because you have a rising talent in Solo Sikoa, but you got that legacy talent in John Cena, and he's kind of at that point now where, despite all the stuff in the past, despite Super Cena and his golden shovel, we all just love the guy to death now. He's just at that point in his career where it's going to be very, very hard to boo him or see any faults in him. But because he is at that state where he's openly said he doesn't want to have many more matches where he can't go at his full 100% or give everyone the talent that they are expecting, I think this is more of a safer bet to have kind of a dominant win for Solo. He's this up-and-coming, really, really strong-looking talent that they built for a long time as being undefeated on the main roster. So I can really kind of see this being another big definitive win for him, because it's just a matter of Cena's not going to be around for a long time. Once his run's done here, he's going back to Hollywood, and I don't think he's going to gain much from beating somebody like Solo. And Cena's also kind of learned from his past mistakes of not putting over newer talent, so I definitely think that it's going to be much more beneficial for everyone if Solo walks away with the win over John Cena. Now, the next match is it's a very interesting match for sure, because it's the United States Championship match between Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul. Now, when Logan Paul first showed up in WWE, didn't want anything to do with him, didn't think he belonged there at all. He's very much proved us all wrong, and that he is very much a different talent, and that he belongs in this ring. Now, when he was last in Saudi Arabia, he was taking on Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal title. And he didn't deserve to win that at all. He didn't need that title. They didn't need to put any face on that. But now he's fighting for a mid-card title like the United States title. One against a legacy talent like Rey Mysterio, who is in his third reign with this title. So if he's ever going to drop it, I think it's gonna happen here against a talent like Logan Paul. Just throw it on him, get all that extra exposure that you want online with all Logan's fans and stuff like that. But I think it's easier because for a reason I'll get to later on for one of the other matches because it involves a different talent. But I think that if they're gonna put a title on Logan, it's got to be a mid card one like this. It's got to be against a star who can eat a loss like Rey Mysterio. So despite all my wrestling instincts, I'm actually going to give this one to Logan Paul the Maverick. Next up is kind of a way to fill a bit of space. It's Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Now, either way, I think this is a win for either or. You either have Cody winning to keep his momentum going towards WrestleMania in the upcoming 5 months because he still needs to finish the story and he does need to be the one to beat Roman Reigns. That's my opinion. You can have your opinion. It's a wrong opinion, but that's life. And then you have Damian Priest, who is senior Money in the Bank, who is eventually going to have to be cashing in that Money in the Bank contract, and he needs some big wins like this to keep him going. So it's very, very much a 50-50 toss-up here because you have both guys who both need the match to keep strong, but it could very much be, one of them loses and still looks strong in defeat, as long as the match is the kind of caliber that we expect of both of them. But because this is Saudi Arabia, because we want to send people home happy, I'm kind of hesitant to give the win to Cody Rhodes, but you know what? I think I'm actually going to go ahead and give it to Damian Priest. Just keep on subjugating those expectations because, again, this is senior Money in the Bank. He's going to be cashing in that contract sooner rather than later, and I think he needs to win over Cody Rhodes to show that he can pin a top-tier talent and walk away with a belt. Alright, next up is a Fatal 5-Way match, and I'm honestly not even going to go through this one very quickly. It's a very easy match. It's Rhea Ripley defending her women's world title, world championship, whatever it is, and I could name all 5 of these talents pretty easily, but I don't think I'm going to because it's Rhea Ripley right now, and she's just so over as mommy with the Judgment Day, with Dominic, that taking this title off her would make next to no sense. There's no point in putting out anyone else in this match because no one else in this match needs or can carry the belt the same way that Rhea Ripley is right now. I think it's a very easy call. Rhea Ripley will retain her title. Now, these last 2 matches are very, very interesting. The first one being Seth Rollins versus... Wait, who's Seth Rollins versus? Okay. Now, these last 2 matches are very interesting because one of the last two is Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, as of right now, Drew McIntyre has not signed a new contract yet. He has not said he's going to continue his time with WWE, and if he does not sign a contract soon, it will come up in mid to late March, which will be right before WrestleMania. So right now, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for them to put a title on him, but it also does kind of make sense to put a title on them because you want to make this guy happy so that maybe he will resign because right now he's kind of doing some of the best work of his career as heel McIntyre because he is just absolutely tearing up the roster right now and he is really, really looking like the beast that he is. And I still think that he needs to have a big world title win in front of a live crowd like he deserved back at WrestleMania 36. So, the way I think this is going to go is that I don't think that Drew McIntyre is going to win this one because of his contract disputes right now. I think he's going to absolutely beat the living tar out of Seth Rollins and leave the door open for a possible cash-in from Damian Priest. And at this point, I'll just say that you can pretty much expect me to say that Damian Priest is going to cash in at every show that Rollins is on right now because he's kind of at that state where he's just beaten, broken, and bruised to the point of no return. He's showing it after every single match that he goes through, especially that last standing match with Nakamura. So I think that McIntyre is really just going to break him down to the last little bits of humanity that he has left, and then Damian Priest is going to come in and eat up what's ever left and walk away with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, as much as we all love LA Knight, we have to understand that this is just not the time, nor the place, nor the title that he should be winning at this point in his career. And that's for a couple reasons. Number one is that whether we all want to admit it or not, Cody Rhodes needs to be the one to finish the story and take the title off of Roman Reigns. That's just how it's structured right now. It's the one that makes the most sense. It's the one that makes the most, the ones that just feels the most right. And right now, just putting a world title on LA Knight would feel like it's rushing a bit too much. And I know that's kind of contrary to how we all feel, because we all want him to have a belt in him, but I don't think it needs to be a world title just yet. I think we definitely need to we need to cash in on this heat that he has right now. Like, he is white hot, he is all over the place, he is a merchandise moving machine, and I think he's going to benefit a lot more from winning a title against a guy like Logan Paul. So the way I see this is that Logan Paul will probably win the United States Championship from Rey Mysterio, hold it for a little chunk of change, maybe a month at the most, and then by the end of the year, at maybe one more pay-per-view or even a high-value SmackDown or Raw or something like that, LA Knight will come in, take the belt off of Logan Paul for just a big, good, feel-good moment, get the crowd going, finally get his first championship win, and that'll really put him on the road to winning a title, more probably along the lines of the World Heavyweight Championship that Seth Rollins currently holds right now, because I want to make this clear. Everybody wants LA Knight to be a world champion. But unfortunately, the guys running the show behind the scenes and creative just aren't that way. They're not going to put the big money belt on a guy like LA Knight. They just, for some reason, don't see him as that guy. They think he's too old, yada, yada, yada. It's unfortunately just not going to be that way. But I think if we put a mid-card belt on LA Knight first, really have him build it up, kind of go on this Gunther-esque run that he's been on lately, and just really show that he is that guy, he is the next one in line, and then maybe even at WrestleMania have him capture the World Heavyweight Championship from a heel like Drew McIntyre if he resigns, or Damian Priest after he cashes in or something like that, just have it be this much bigger moment on a much bigger stage that has a lot more value to it. So, against my better judgment, against what my heart, I guess, is saying more and more, despite wanting LA Knight to walk away with the belt here in Saudi Arabia, I'm going to have to unfortunately give the belt to Roman Reigns.